friends. I'm Karen, and this is the Family Food for Moms podcast. We're talking about inspiration for family cooking and dining. Today, we're going to be continuing our theme on meaningful dinners with some practical ideas for things you can do. We talked about the atmosphere to do with the lighting or music or table setting. We talked about the food not needing to be too fancy, but rather meaningful with some effort put in. We talked about conversation and topics. We talked about how to make each person feel seen and heard. And so we're thinking about how to make a dinner time meaningful, how to create meaningful memories, and to make it special. So here's some ideas to focus on connection, not perfection. So making the evening meaningful, you could have an appreciation dinner. So each person could share one thing that they appreciate about every other person. You could write them on small cards and then read them aloud, or you could just say them on the spur of the moment. You could do them as a toast, anything that makes the other person feel appreciated. Then a story night, you could pick a theme like a funny childhood memory or a time I felt proud of what I did or a family tradition I love. Think of any sentences that you'd like the others to complete and then maybe have some cards to get you going. Some good prompts, anything to get somebody talking about something from their past, something funny, something heroic, something exciting, something terrifying. Tell some good stories. It's actually amazing what our kids remember and often that we don't remember. So it's really cool to find out from each person what their memories of a particular time are. Then the memory candle, you can light a candle and invite each person to share a favorite memory before the meal begins. Making it interactive and fun. So build your own dinner. You can do like a taco bar, potato bar, pasta bar, pizza night, a ramen noodle bar, rice bowls. So everybody gets to customize their plate. You can have a separate table with all the ingredients on, and everybody can mix and match. You can even choose where you're going to sit and who you're going to sit next to and what you're going to talk to them about. So kind of a build your own relaxed evening. Then a role reversal dinner where the kids plan the menu and the parents do all the chores. Kids serve the food, and everyone can eat out of character. One of the younger kids could give instructions. One of the parents could act silly. You could do silly accents. You could act all formal. Do a pretend restaurant where the waitress has a tray and takes your orders. Just use your imagination. Then a mystery ingredient challenge. One surprise ingredient should be included in the meal or dessert, and then everyone has to guess what it is. Can taste the food, think about it, and it doesn't have to taste bad. It could just be an additional, unusual thing. This works quite well in a dessert. It's kind of harder in a main course. For example, you could put some cinnamon in a cheesecake, or you could put some orange or lemon zest on a dessert like panna cotta. You could do something like a little bit of chocolate in the lamb stew or something fun like that. Making it unique or unexpected, creating moments that you'll remember. So, around the world nights, you can pick a country, you can do the food, the music, the table decor, perhaps some clothes or parts of clothing. Fun fact from that culture, you could watch a movie about the area, learn how to say something in that language, like thank you or hello. A time travel dinner. This is an exciting one, I think. I've never done this. Choose a decade or era. So the 70s, medieval, the future, ancient China. Do the dress. If there's music, you can do that. Try to match the food theme. Not an easy one. That's quite a challenge, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. Then you could do an indoor picnic, sitting in your living room on the carpet, eating with your hands, or you could go outside and stargaze. You could make it a gourmet picnic with cheese and fancy glasses with grape juice. Then a question jar. Put thoughts in a question jar or fun questions. What made you laugh this week? What's something you want to learn? I think stargazing is the best, and just see what conversation comes out of it. If today had a title, what would it be? You could talk about your highs, lows, and hopes. So, your high, what was the best part of your day? Low, what was the hardest part of your day? And hope, something you're looking forward to. Great way to get everybody talking. Traditions. Making something a tradition. And this really helps to turn ordinary meals into something special. So, a signature dinner each month where you have that same meal, same ritual each month. And over time, that becomes your family's thing for that day. You could create a family memories book. So each time or each dinner, then one person has a turn to write or draw something about that night. And that'll be amazing to look back on and to browse through to see all the things that you did together over the years that can become incredibly meaningful. Then a gratitude and giving dinner, talking about something your family is grateful for or each specific individual is grateful for. And choose a small act of kindness to do together later, or each person chooses something kind to do for the person sitting next to them. You can think about who you want to invite and how you want to make them feel welcome in your home. You can cook a meal for someone else or part of the meal, like a dessert for a friend or a family member. Think about how you can be generous. I meant to mention this earlier, a values dinner. This is where you'd pick one value, either the parent or the kids pick a value like kindness, courage, integrity. Talk about what it means and how you think it showed up this week by the other members of the family, what you noticed. Some more fun ideas. You could put all your questions that you like to use in a question jar, some deep, some fun, and then pull one out each dinner time. Pass the plate compliments. So just using the person on your right or your left, and each person says one sincere thing about them. A weekly host where one person hosts the dinner. They pick the music and the theme and the conversation starter, maybe the colors and the decor. Make it theirs. And then having an end of meal ritual can be special. Read a part of the Bible or have a short toast or a prayer or a moment of silence together. And I think this stops that leaping up and wanting to clear immediately thing, because you know the meal is not finished. So when everybody is finished and had a chance to eat their meal and not be rushed, then you can end with a small ritual as a way to cement your togetherness. Sometimes you can talk about the rose, the thorn, and the bud in your life. So one win, one challenge that you're struggling with, and something that you're growing in your life. Then, if you really knew me, this can be fun and light, or it can be deep. People share something about themselves. Some of these will work well with guests included, and some will work well with just the family. 2 truths and a lesson, 2 things that happened and what you learned. Some other questions that are good. What made you feel seen recently? What are you proud of that you did that no one knows about? And what do you want more of in your life right now? Sometimes you can recreate a meal from a special time in your lives, or recreate a photo after the meal from a special time in your life. A start silent night. This is a different kind of challenge. The first 5 minutes would be eating quietly, just looking at each other, maybe smiling, and then reflecting on how it felt. Then tiny touches can elevate things. So a little handwritten note at each card. I know one of my daughters especially would love this. Or just a little note for each person, or a specific message on the back of their name tag that applies to them. Then special tablecloths or glasses or cutlery that you only use for special dinners. A shared journal where you each write one sentence after dinner. This could be just whatever you feel like writing, or it could be to respond to a prompt. You could pass the book around during the meal so that people could write. It's fun to have a little bell to ring for the start of the meal, and everybody knows it's time and it's started. So there's so many ideas for different ways that you can make meals meaningful. And a lot of these can apply to date nights as well. They can often be even more intimate and meaningful because it's easier for spouses to talk sometimes than families. So, talking about your high and low, best part of your week, your hardest part, and then your desire for something you want more of together or individually. Talk about some things that you appreciate about the other person right at that time. A weekly check in. What felt good between us? What felt off? Or one thing we could try new next week. Write each other a little note each day and stick it on your Bible or your desk. The if you really knew me question. Usually you know each other quite well, but it'd be interesting to hear the end of that sentence. Questions. So, when do you feel most loved by me? What are you craving more of lately? What scares you about the future? What excites you about the future? And then memory lane, sharing a favorite memory or talking about a specific time in your lives and looking at some photos, trying to remember what that time was like. And then what you found valuable in that time and what you struggled with, what you are glad of to be out of that time. Check in of love languages. You can, in what ways did you feel loved this week? And how can we show love better to each other? Compliment ping pong. This is where you both give compliments until someone laughs or blushes. So try to keep a straight face. You could have a shared journal where you take turns writing half a page or one page to each other after the date or to your future selves. Stargazing is always special. Writing short letters to open during your date night for each other. And then dressing up from a time in history is fun when you're a couple in the same way as with a family. From any time in history that you find fascinating, or you could recreate your first date or a special date that you remember. I know this is harder to do at home. Play a song that you always found special, or play your date night playlist. A flowers evening where the men in the family choose flowers for the ladies, either from the garden or buying some flowers, and then talk about why that flower reminds them of that person. Or the ladies could choose particular flowers for the table or for each person at the table, and then also talk about the color or the characteristics of the flower and what it made them think of or who it made them think of. Or just enjoy a slow night with no agenda, cooking together slowly, long conversations, sitting, staring into each other's eyes, no rushing, just trying to make time to be there for each other and to make memories. I've only scratched the surface. There's so many ways to make dinners meaningful, family nights, date nights. I find as soon as I start to make an effort, the ideas come. When I'm feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, there aren't many ideas, but somehow putting on some soft music, dimming the lights, setting the table beautifully helps already to bring that family closeness and connection. So I hope you have some special meal times in the near future and that you're feeling inspired. I'll see you next time.